follow your dream. With every beat of your heart, follow your dream. Take courage in your left hand, strengthen your right. Look yourself in the eye, see the fear, but keep on heading for the light. With every beat of your heart, follow your dream. With every beat of your heart, learn to spread your wings. Let faith, hope, and love, let it be your guide. With every beat of your heart, get ready to fly. With every beat of your heart, sing your song. With every beat of your heart, that's how you're gonna carry on. You might not know just where you're headed, you might walk a lonely road, but you gotta keep on traveling, 'cause deep inside you'll know. With every beat of your heart, follow your dream. With every beat of your heart, let God help you spread your wings. Let faith, hope, and love be your guide. With every beat of your heart, get ready to fly. Don't sit back in a rocking chair regretting what you have not done. That's the reason our dreams are there, to open our eyes so we can follow the sun. With every beat of your heart, follow your dream. With every beat of your heart, spread your wings. Let faith, hope, and love be your guide. With every beat of your heart, be ready to fly. With every beat of your heart,
Please join me in prayer. And we come together yet again to acknowledge and celebrate the fact that holy moments are available to us all the time. And we're going to hear about the divine plan for each and every one of us. And we're here together to celebrate our ability to bring this about together collectively. One small act at a time. All of these things are cumulative. We give thanks for all who've come together to make this celebration possible. We know that everything that takes place here will be perfect in every way. Everyone sitting in this space is perfect in every way. Everyone within the sound of my voice is perfect in every way. Everyone, everywhere is perfect in every way, simply because we are made by a power that becomes what it loves, makes things out of itself, with each and every one of us being a unique expression of that power. I give thanks for all of these unique expressions of that divine power that are in this space with me to help celebrate the divine plan. I give thanks for all of them. I give thanks for my life. I give thanks for everything that takes place, knowing that it is all for my highest, best good, and the highest, best good everywhere. I release these words into the law, where they're already done in the divine universal mind. I let this go, I let it be. Together we affirm, and so it is. We are working out of the book Holy Moments. It's a wonderful little book. There are copies out on the table that are available for you to take if you like what you hear, because it's a wonderful little book. I have some words of inspiration here. The first being from D. Hawk. Make a careful list of all the things you've done that you abhorred. Then make another list of things that others have done for you that you loved. Do those things for others always. From J.M. Barrie. Shall we make a new rule for life? Always be a little kinder than necessary. From our founder, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes. Goodness and human kindness are handmaids of love and life and cannot be separated from reality. I think our young Dr. David likes it here too. He visits us frequently. But now I started coming around. Here's the guy back here. It's all his fault, that young man there, Bill. He brought me to this center for the first time, and what he didn't tell me was if you keep hanging around here, they're going to start finding stuff for you to do. I didn't warn David of that, but he's in danger because he visits us a lot. And he knows a lot of stuff. He's very well educated. He's got an open heart, and he's all over the place. And anytime that New Dawn asks anything of him, he finds a way to say yes, always. And for that, we are so grateful. So come on up, young Dr. David, and tell us about the divine plan.
Thank you, my friend. Well, hi, beautiful people. And I don't know about that here, Bill, but I do know about it in other nonprofits and or spiritual communities that, yes, if you show up more than twice, you're soon president of the board. So just beware, my friends, beware. Brilliant speaker, brilliant speaker. No pressure. Is that anything like Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman? Oh my goodness. I know, I'm dating myself. Shoot. Before we jump into what we're talking about here today, Russell, thank you. And Karen, thank you. And Travis, thank you. It's a joy to share the platform with all of you, as well as everyone who continues to make all of these services possible. So as you may be aware, August is the only month that doesn't have a national holiday. So Karen Karsh and I decided that our birthdays will be national holidays. And some of you may be aware, my husband Rick and I share the same birthday. And our birthday is Saturday, August 23rd. We're going to be 65. And we're doing a special evening at the Adams Mystery Playhouse. If anybody likes murder mysteries, and even if you don't, I went for the first time, I was iffy at best, and we had a blast. So I'll leave this flyer out on the table, take a picture of it. You get $10 off a ticket if you mention the code Rick David. You have to include Rick, you can not, or include David, it's okay. But anyway, Saturday, August 23rd, we'd love to have you join us at the Adams Mystery Playhouse. So yeah, a lot going on. Oh my goodness, a lot going on this week. We had the longest day of the year, and from here on out, my friends, the days are getting shorter. What? Feels like we just got here. So happy solstice, happy Juneteenth, when many slaves were officially notified that the war was over and they were free. And, you know, I would be remiss, of course, if I didn't mention what's happening nationally and internationally on the scene. And I have to tell you, my friends, I was up early, I was meditating, I was praying, I lit my candle on my altar, just being in that space of what is mine to do, what is mine to say, how do I engage knowing this community? This is a happy community. This is a joy-filled community. You love each other, you support each other, you come together in good times and in interesting times. And I didn't want to be the David Downer coming into the middle of that, and it feels as though it would be spiritual malpractice if we didn't talk about part of that. So honestly, I pulled up, I feel like I had done my work, I feel like I was prayed up, and I still didn't know what I was going to say and how we were going to address, forgive the poor metaphor, the elephant in the room. And I walked in the front door, and I was welcomed by so many extraordinary beings. With that love, with that joy, with that welcome, we're so glad to see you. We're so glad you're here. And what a beautiful explanation of what we're talking about this month and what we're talking about today. That was my most recent holy moment. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure of myself. I wasn't sure of how we were going to engage today, and each and every one of you helped me remember. Thank you. Thank you. So what we do know then, just stating fact, is that the president ordered a strike by the U.S. military on nuclear power plants in Iran. 3 power plants were struck by 6 aircraft carrying 12 bunker-busting bombs. And that was just the airstrike. There were also bombs launched from submarines off the coast of Iraq. And honestly, I'm still working through that. And I don't mean to turn us political, and we do need to pay attention. And so that is where we are. And it is just fascinating to me, and forgive me, that the vice president was on the news, one of the news shows this morning, saying, oh no, we're not at war with Iran. Now, if I reflect on our experience as Americans, when we were on the receiving end of a surprise bombing attack, think Pearl Harbor, on December 8th, the next day, the entire US Congress voted unanimously to declare war on Japan. And yet, for all intents and purposes, we are bombing a country, theoretically, we are bombing a country, and yet we're not at war with them. Now, I'm not the sharpest crayon in the box. And that just doesn't jive for me. And so as people of faith, as metaphysicians, what the invitation is for us is to continue to be in those holy moments. Whatever you are doing, I encourage you to keep doing it. If you're speaking to giant souls with short legs that you don't know, but you see their light, keep doing it. The whole point of this book is each positive thought, everything that we do raises the vibration on the planet. So if you are in that place of despair, if you're in that place of darkness, if you are on that precipice, forgive me, of WTF, yeah, you do have choices. We were having a great conversation about choices earlier. We may not always like our choices, and we have choices. So keep doing what you're doing, my friends. You do have power, and you can do it. Your positivity matters. Your prayers matter. Your interaction with each other matters. Your self-talk matters. Keep doing it. Those are the most powerful weapons that we have in this day and age. So, this was brilliant, Russell, and whoever selected this book, the timing is impeccable. And for the chapter that I'm addressing on the divine plan, spoiler alert, Matthew Kelly doesn't have a really fine idea. He's got some fine ideas, but he's not exactly sure what the divine plan is. I certainly don't know the divine plan. Ernest Holmes had a pretty good idea. And guess what? We're all still trying to figure it out together. So the thing that I found fascinating, again, with the divine plan, it's part 3, starting on page 61, is that Kelly, the author, uses the analogy of the play Les Miserables, right? And it is a play about the hero, if you will, in abject poverty and the lengths that people will go to when they need to do what they need to do to feed their families. And so, it talks about the extremes of those in authority when trying to quench rebellion. So Jean Valjean steals a loaf of bread, and he's sentenced to 20 years of hard labor. What is the parallel? What is in it for us? Well, the direct parallel is the president and first lady went to the Kennedy Center last week to see a play since he reshuffled the board of the Kennedy Center. And what play did they see? Les Miserables. And on his way in, reporters are known for asking all of those hard questions, especially in difficult times. A reporter asked the president, "Sir, who do you identify with? Basically the hero or the villain?" And, being a man of literature and being... I couldn't pull that off. Being a man of literature and being a man of the world and being a man of the theater, he said, I don't really know. You're going to have to take that one, dear. Now we laugh, and that's a real problem. He doesn't know if he identifies with the hero or the villain. And so, again, that is where we get to continue to lean into our faith. We get to lean in what we know to be true, that everyone is doing the best they can, including those, especially those with whom we may vehemently disagree. Everybody's doing the best they can. Everyone, including those we don't like, is a perfect expression of the divine. We don't get to create the gray area. We don't get to say, we're all perfect expressions of the divine, except them, except him, except for that group. It's not the way it works. And so we get to stand in the power of seeing the divinity in everyone. And it strikes me that in holy moments, the author writes, the great moments of our lives are not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes they are quiet, hidden, sacred. But every holy moment is a stepping stone in God's plan for our lives. And honestly, when I read that line, what dropped in for me is when Russell referred to the many times I keep coming back, just like a bad penny. And that started a long time ago. And one of the most beautiful things that I remember as part of your community was Reverend Karen's ordination. And it was so sweet. And it was so her, right? Down to her gold high-heeled shoes that she took off 5 minutes after the ceremony. I was that old when I learned, ladies, forgive me, that there are 2-hour shoes and 4-hour shoes and 6-hour shoes. And apparently, whatever Karen's were, she had hit the limit. But that moment, that was a holy moment because so many of you were there to support her and to engage with her. And I know that she entered into that process with prayer and with an overflowing heart, and with so many of her friends and colleagues, all of the musicians. I believe Cheryl was there and Freddie was there, and my dear friend, Reverend Norm was there, and you all know Norm and Karen were peas in a pod. So that is a holy moment. As you participate in that, whether you were physically present or not, you are raising the vibration on the planet. And those are the holy moments. Those are the conversations, right? When you all lifted me up when I walked in here today, then I had the great joy of seeing Trail and Karen and Herbie, not necessarily in that order. And it just flew out of my mouth. It honestly was not premeditated. And I said, Herbie Karsh. And, bless his heart, he's not only a beautiful service dog, he knows his name. And he and I hang out together, and we get in trouble for doing things Karen would prefer neither one of us do. And we get to hang out together. And that was another holy moment, right? Karen's beautiful dog, whom, I know she loves and adores, and they treat each other so beautifully. And he's able to love beyond his human. He's able to love beyond his work. That is a holy moment. And I have to tell you, another holy moment for me, and one of the reasons I come back is your fault, because you all know this. This fella has a direct connection to the divine, and he knows how to pray. And I like to think that I do okay in the prayer department. And Russell, whenever I hear you, whenever I'm in that circle, whenever I hear the words and feel the energy, you lift me up. Bless you and thank you. So as we move through then the divine plan, we're going to take a look at how each of us is a unique expression of the divine. And we say that over and over and over because sometimes we each need to hear it differently. We may know it and know it and know it, and in this moment, I'm slightly off center and I'm not as grounded as I'd like. And I get to tell you that you are a perfect expression of the divine. And those of you who know me perhaps a little bit better than some know that I can talk a lot and I try not to lie much. So when I tell you that, the invitation is for you to see it in yourself, right? So as you're having those conversations and we're raising and praising the people that we love and the people that we don't, we also get to praise and raise ourselves. We get to have that positive self-talk. When I have that those moments and I do something interesting and it's like, oh, good, David. I get to step back and say, okay, what would I do differently? Yeah? And that is why this community is so powerful, because you are self-correcting. And we know that when we change our thinking, we change our lives. And when we change our self-talk, we also change our lives. Excuse me. So Kelly introduces us to the idea of a holy moment as a moment when you make yourself completely available to God. Pretty powerful. My interpretation of that is the same God that created me and continues to dwell in me and express as me is forever present in me and in you. Are you showing God a good time? Right? Because the God of my understanding, the higher power, Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, Yahweh, Dr. Seuss, Grandma Moses, whatever your interpretation of the divine, it's okay. And that energy lives within you, and that's what is yours to take forward. Rick and I had the great good fortune to have a dinner with a dear friend this past week who just earned her doctorate of education. And she is an extraordinary being. She has created and founded the dental hygiene program at Colorado Mountain College in Edwards, just outside of Vail. They've got their second cohort. They continue to train these dental hygienists. Laura is the founding director. She was the sole professor for the first year of the program. She is the admissions committee, getting through all of these applications. She got the $8 million of funding for this dental school, right? 10 different dental stations, and all of that entails. She's really an amazing being. And of course, we took her out to dinner and celebrated that with her, and we already have a thank you note. Words are her love language, and that is how she shows up in the world. And one of the things that she said is, thank you for choosing to spend time with me. I know that all we have is our time, and I'm so grateful. You guys are so busy. Thank you for choosing to hang out together. And so that is a person like you, someone who is accomplished, someone who has touched many lives, choosing to stay connected and choosing to create those holy moments for so many. So Kelly says, as I said, holy moment is a moment when you make yourself completely available to God. In religious science, we might say it's a moment when we align our consciousness with the infinite mind, when we become a place where spirit shows up fully. Again, a chant that our dear Karen has played more than a few times. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up, right? That's another note to self. I am the place where God shows up. Can I see what you made?
She made a birthday card for Grandpa.
Today is
Grandpa Don?
birthday.
Yay! Hit it, Karen. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donna. Happy birthday to you. Outstanding. Congratulations. Thanks for choosing to be here. Yeah, talk about a holy moment. That's pretty extraordinary. And so again, my friends, I just remind you that holy moments don't require grand gestures, right? Ours was a grand gesture because we have Karen Karsh on the piano. And if we didn't, we would all join in, happy birthday, mine being more off key than most. And it's the gesture that counts. So it's a smile, it's a kind word, it's a prayer, it's a decision to forgive, and it's allowing people to be where they are. I had the opportunity to speak at Center for Spiritual Living, Northern Colorado last week for Father's Day, and it was really lovely. There was a couple there with their daughter and her significant other. Mom and dad have been together, I think they said about 40 or 45 years. They got there an hour early. And the couple was sitting in the front row, and the young people are both living with Down syndrome, probably late 20s, early 30s. They were holding hands throughout the whole service. It made my heart happy. And at the beginning of the service, Ken Jansen was the musician with me last week, so somebody asked, do we have any young people? Do we have any children in the audience? And this young woman got up and marched up to the front, and she sang this beautiful children's song that Ken knew as part of the service and played. And, you know, it doesn't make any difference if she's 20 or 30 or 90. If that brings her joy, if that is her holy moment, if she knows the words and she knows the sign language, absolutely. Do what makes your heart happy is the message for me and from me. So those are the moments that are small and don't require the grand gestures. Our buddy Ernest would say, there is a divine pattern at the center of everything. It is the blueprint of perfection, the spiritual prototype from which all things spring. Now, what Holmes calls the divine pattern, Kelly calls the divine plan, and we can always choose to participate. We participate when we choose love over fear. We participate when we choose service over selfishness. And we participate when we choose silence over reaction. And we participate when we choose action over reaction, right? So that is what we know to be true. And don't hear preordination. It doesn't mean that everything's laid out and we don't have any choice, right? As metaphysicians, what we know and what we understand, again, is that we are always at choice. And we get to co-create with the divine. And so as part of that action, I love the work that you all continue to do. Thank you, Mickey, for highlighting that with Habitat, with the Aurora community. My friends, it makes a difference. One person at a time makes a difference. So how do we align with that divine plan? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does it mean? Well, it's not a rigid script. You know, if we know anything about ourselves and folks in religious science and New Thought in general and metaphysicians, we don't always do so well when we're told what to do. We like to be able to explore. We like to be able to engage our minds and our hearts and come to our own conclusions. And so that's the field of possibility that's rooted in love, that's rooted in wholeness, that's rooted in creativity. And that is the time when we get to engage our minds and say, what else might be true? What am I not aware of here? What do I not know? So that's the opportunity for us to take that breath. What else might be true? What else is happening here? Give it a moment. This, truth be told, patience is still one of my growing edges. This from not the most patient guy that ever walked the planet. So in religious science, we teach that spirit always says yes to the imprint of our thought. And that means we're never separate from the divine plan. We co-create with it. Every holy moment is a yes in the mind of God. Some call it a God wink. Some call it a tap. That is when we align with the divine plan. So three simple ideas for you to consider. The first one, from that place of what else might be true. Pause and listen. but I want, but I need, but this is, but I pray, but I. David, shut up. Take a moment, pause, and listen. It's been said, and I know that you've heard before, that when we pray, we're asking, sometimes we're beseeching, and when we meditate, we listen. So I don't know about you, if I ever find myself in that place of it's an unanswered prayer, God isn't listening, maybe it has been answered. Maybe I'm the one who's not listening. So pause and listen. Stop, think. Kelly suggests asking, what would love do? Years ago, one of the taglines for, I believe, a Christian organization was, what would Jesus do? Those are still relevant. Those are still helpful. And as a perfect expression of the divine, I invite you to ask, what would I do? You know. You have access to the wisdom of the universe. Tap into it. Allow that information to flow to you and through you. The second is to be available. Make space in your day for that stillness. The higher power that I know speaks in language that I can understand through stillness. So maybe it's 2 minutes in your chair outside in this glorious heat wave in our semi-arid state. If you're anything like me, maybe it's more like a half hour in the air-conditioned comfort indoors. God doesn't care. The point is, I'm making the effort to slow down and be quiet. So be available. And the third opportunity is to say yes. When your soul nudges you toward kindness, compassion, or action, say yes. And conversely, concurrently, the other end of the energetic spectrum, however you want to frame that, you also get to say no. How will my yeses mean anything if I can't say no? Many of us are really good at the yes thing. We know how to be caretakers. We're reasonably good at caring for our spouses and our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and our four-leggeds and our friends who may need our help and assistance. And you get to say no and understand that it is a complete sentence. If you choose to give more context, that's awesome. And if you get to say, no, thank you, that's all you need to say. So Kelly says that holy moments are the GPS coordinates of your soul on the divine map. And I like to think of GPS as the God positioning system. So holy moments are the God positioning system coordinates of your soul on the divine map. And then he goes on to talk about IQ, EQ, SQ, and it just made my heart happy. Many are aware that IQ is, intelligence in general. EQ is emotional intelligence, which in the grand scheme of things is a newer field of study that I know many are familiar with. And then he goes on to talk about SQ, which is spiritual consciousness. Interesting. And that is what I tried to do during my PhD work when I looked at the intersection of leadership and spirituality. So our intelligence got us so far. Our emotional intelligence, for those who are aware and chose to engage, took us even farther. What if, my friends, our work is to continue to bring spiritual intelligence to those we love and to our planet? Wow. That feels like pretty powerful work to me. And so how am I going to frame this? This is not something that I do on a regular basis, and I appreciate your indulgence, and it feels like today is a good day to do it. So I'm going to invite you to go into a place of meditation with me, just for 3 or 4 minutes. And let's do a beta test on this. Take a moment to practice stillness together. I invite you to gently close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let it go. Breathe in peace and exhale tension. Imagine yourself surrounded by light. This light is the divine presence, and it knows you by name. In this moment, there's nothing you need to fix. There's nothing you need to solve. You are simply being. Feel your breath anchoring you to the present. Whisper in your heart, I am available to God's love. I am aligned with the divine plan. I am available to God's love. I am aligned with the divine plan. And based on your reading and based on our conversation today, imagine one holy moment you could choose today. See it. Feel it. Welcome it. So I'll soon invite you back into this space. Know that you can return to your meditation anytime you'd like. Take one more deep breath and gently return, wiggling your fingers and toes and allowing yourself to be present once again. So what we're experiencing, my friends, is that the divine plan is not somewhere out there. It's here and now, unfolding moment by moment through our thoughts, through our words, through our actions. Kelly reminds us that we're capable of collaborating with God in every moment. Ernest Holmes affirms that there is a spiritual prototype of perfection at the center of our being. Let's not wait for the big call. The divine plan is in your next choice: to love, to serve, to forgive, and to trust. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be available. Please join me in prayer. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the keen minds, the huge hearts that are here this morning, that are within the sound of my voice online, choosing to gather in peace, choosing to gather in purpose, choosing to gather in celebration. Thank you for the ability to explore the divine plan as I and so many continue to be in that place of what is mine to do. Yes, I get to think. Yes, I get to ponder. Yes, I get to pray. And thank you for not having us be bound by the stricture of the structure, that we get to do that work and then we get to put it into action. There is no wrong, there is no bad, there is no I need to wait for more information, there is no I need to wait for an invitation. The invitation has already been offered. It's up to us to say yes. Yes, and this is my contribution to the greater good. This is what I'm doing to raise the frequency on the planet that I so love. So thank you. Thank you for those holy moments. Thank you for those winks. Thank you for those nods of recognition. Thank you for the ability to connect with those known and unknown. And so this day we go forward. We go forward grounded. We go forward with loving hearts, knowing that nobody and nothing and no circumstance can move us off center. For we are grounded in the divine, and we are open at the top to possibility, to power, most of all, to great love. And I simply allow it to be. I say thank you, Spirit. And we anchor this together by saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so I am.
And so I am.
And so we are.
And so we are. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. You will do amazing things. With each choice every new day brings, and with every step you take, just bless the progress that you make. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Every choice, every gift you breathe, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Yes, you will. All the places you will go, all the people you'll get to know. Don't worry about where or when or how. You don't need to think about that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Love your life, love your dreams.